Hey guys, this is Samantha from Sankofayah. You are tuning in tonight to another episode of Return to Build Talk. I'm super excited about tonight because we are learning about cryptocurrency. And this is something that I think is going to be very important for us to be aware of. And I do feel like some of us are aware of it, maybe not enough of us are aware of how it works, how we purchase crypto, or how we purchase coins. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a learning experience. Hey, Julian.
Hola, hola, wagwan, wagwan.
Medea, Medea.
How you doing?
Listen, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for answering the call.
hmm
Yes, so you are now a part of our Fat Rich fam. So thank you
Okay.
so much. So
I
yeah,
appreciate being part of the team. I like what
yeah.
you're doing.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love what you're doing as well. And that's a whole nother conversation. So, but we'll definitely get into that. I feel like I already know you're gonna have to come back again because I feel like you just have so much to give, so
hmm
much value to give, and I definitely want everyone to be aware of what you're doing,
hmm
the organizations that you're a part of, the organizations that you support. So I'm super excited. I will allow you to introduce yourself a little bit more and then we could get into this conversation.
Okay. Well, my name is Julion St. I am the creative director for the Thelonius Monk estate. I'm also the co-founder for Sanaa Collection. We are an NFT agency and gallery and collectors for Black artists. So we're very, very excited about this week. This past month in NFTs has been a lot of excitement, which brings a whole
Mm,
bunch of new people into the blockchain environment. Right.
okay.
And that's always great. You know what I'm saying? So there's more exposure. There's more people getting into it. They don't know what NFTs are. Some people have
All right.
skipped Bitcoin and went straight to NFTs. And now a lot of people are lost and don't know where to start from. Right. So I figure I tell people if you can't explain it to a baby, or if you can't explain it to a kid sometimes, then it doesn't make sense. Then it doesn't need to make sense, right?
Mm,
It's not supposed to be truly obtainable if it's just not easy to understand.
mm.
So
But if go ahead, no, go
no,
ahead, go
no, no,
ahead.
no, no. I was saying, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, no, but I feel like if you break it down to like bite sizes, then it's a little bit, it seems a bit more manageable to people. So
So,
definitely that would be the purpose of tonight for us to get like a scoop, an idea, so
mhm.
that we know like what NFTs are, like what's the difference between fungible, non-fungible, like where do you get bitcoins from? Oh, excuse me, not bitcoins, because that's a brand, right? That's a company,
hmm
or that's a type of coin, and there are different types of coins. Some people just think, okay, well, I'm gonna buy bitcoins. That's like somebody saying, I'm gonna buy Colgate when really what they want is toothpaste, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like, all right, let's get down to the ABCs of it so that we could but like get our little bite-sized pieces and
hmm
then be able to like digest that and then go back for some more. So firstly, anyone who has any questions, please drop your comments in the or questions in the comment section, and I always want to say ping like I'm on Clubhouse, and I will save it or however you like keep it there.
hmm
Um, so yes, so the let's get
Base.
into cryptocurrency.
Okay,
What first of all, let's say this. What is a blockchain? Because some
okay,
people
all
don't
right,
know
yeah. So
what a blockchain.
that's a good point. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with blockchain because people want to know about Bitcoin, but they skip over where Bitcoin derives from and where its fundamentals come from, right? So you have blockchain, right? Blockchain is a protocol. The
Mm,
internet is a protocol, right? It's a means of way of transferring data from one place to another, right? Just like the internet, you send one thing from here and it ends here,
mm,
right? Blockchain is a new protocol and a secure way of sending information from one place to another, right? Because without getting too technical, right? Um,
mm-hmm,
Blockchain is a security is a chain of blocks, right? So
uh-huh,
look at it as in a open ledger, right?
mm,
So in Bitcoin's case, they use blockchain technology, right, to
mm,
verify payments, right? So each block is a verification of payments, right? So that's where they get the word blockchain, right? So for me, let me take it back just a step. when it comes to blockchain, right? Think of it like this. If you rob a bank, right? You rob a bank. No, say no. You're accused of robbing a bank, right? You're accused of robbing a bank, and you go to court, and the judge is like, what's your alibi? Because somebody is saying that you were committing a crime at this place, right? Mm-hmm. You happen to be at the Bank of America ATM, right? Taking out money, right? At that Bank of America ATM, there's a camera, right? And as you're taking out your money with the camera, right, it records you, right? So you know what you tell them? I was at the Bank of America. I was not committing a crime, right? And you know what the judge says? Okay, give me the records. So you tell your lawyer subpoenas Bank of America, that ATM. That ATM, they pull up the receipts, right? They pull up the video transcript, the record, the video feed, right? And the judge sees that in court, right? He presents at the court. The only thing the judge wants to see is that little time stamp in the corner that says the time, date, longitude, latitude of where you were at to prove, right, that you weren't there, right? So look at blockchain as nothing but a time stamp verification. It just stamp something in time, right? So that when you stamp it in time here, in LA, in Hong Kong, in Australia, right? They're all on the same protocol network. So that timestamp is so hard to alter because it's copied so many different times that a mistake will be caught very easily, right? So it's just a more secure way to transfer data, right? So internet's a protocol, blockchain is a protocol. Look at internet as web 2.0 and blockchain is now web 3.0.
3.0. Got it. Got it.
So now, okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So now that we have like the basis of blockchain and time stamping and the importance of that, right? Because blockchain in itself started off as like a note verification app. Like somebody wanted to create notes and timestamp the notes, right? And that technology didn't go anywhere, right? It sat on the shelf. But this guy named Satoshi, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We don't actually know.
We don't actually know who Satoshi is. That's why that's the best part about this. It's just there's a lot of mystery behind it, right? So Satoshi takes that technology and he's like, I can adapt this a little bit better, you know what I'm saying, for a currency. And you know, I can do this proof of work, right? And I can exchange equity between me and another person peer to peer without having any banking system in between us, right? So just look at it as in just like if like not to say geeks, but people who are computer science, very knowledgeable people, like they push the boundaries of technology to get the best out of it for themselves. And sometimes they stumble across creations. And in that process of a creation comes an epiphany that's a new technology that out of a mistake comes this whole revolutionary changing idea. And some people find that concept is hard to understand because it was just one person, it was just an idea, right? That grew and changed the world, right? And that's basically what Bitcoin is, right? Because currency is defined by what the people decide it is, right? The dollar is based off of what people do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Bitcoin is almost like a social experiment against your dollars, if that makes any sense, right?
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so what is that? So blockchain. Okay, so now we're going to take blockchain. We have an understanding that blockchain is more of a timestamp verification, right? And now if we take it to Bitcoin, right? With Bitcoin, the timestamp verification cuts out the middleman. And the middleman is the banking system, right? So when you use your debit card, when you use money, right? There's a system that calculates when you look at your phone that says, all right, I debited $48, I debited this, that, and the third, because that's your ledger. Your ledger is your statement. You know what I'm saying? Like us older people from the older generation, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember like my first checking account, I had a ledger that I had to write it in, right? I was actually physically writing my ledger. So when I had an understanding, when they said this is an open ledger, I'm like, oh, they're bringing it back, right? But they're making, what Bitcoin does is it's an open ledger, right? So instead of the banks taking care of the ledger, right? Bitcoin itself, using blockchain technology, creates an open ledger that everybody has access to, right? So that everybody can interact peer-to-peer without having all these transaction fees and all these dollar fees and all this regulatory things that basically they charge you for to hold your own equity. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So this it's a decentralized platform that has no oversight, because the oversight is technically the community, if that makes sense, for better lack of knowledge.
Which is why it's low-key dangerous.
Yes.
In the sense that we literally have the power.
Well,
like,
no, it's disruptive. I wouldn't say dangerous. It's disruptive, right? So, like, you know, when the dot-com era came, people didn't understand it. They weren't hip to it. They weren't getting to it. And if you didn't adapt as a company when the dot-com era came, you got left behind, right? Another example, streaming services. Once Napster hit, right? One kid creates Napster, changes the world, right? But it changes the entire industry. And what they tried to do at first is they tried to attack Napsters, anybody who's doing file sharing. Why? Because they had to, in a sense, short the market so that they could have a position, which is streaming, right? They had to figure out a way. They can't let the consumer dictate the market, right? And what blockchain does, it allows the consumer to dictate the market, right? Without interference or manipulation for people who have the ability to do so, right? So if I wanted to, like, let's say you guys, let's say people who are with me, maybe they understand the concept so far. So, like, let me just bring it back if you just joined, right? Blockchain is a timestamp, right? Blockchain is a protocol just like the internet, right? Remember in the Willy Wonka factory? Remember that movie, right? Where the kid went inside the machine and he went on the other side like a TV broadcast, and he went to a bunch of little bits and pieces, and then they reassembled him on the other side where they couldn't reassemble him. Yeah. That's literally what blockchain does, right? So proof of work versus proof of stake, right? You're going to hear that a lot, right? So if you have, all right, so everybody's heard of Bitcoin and they heard of Ethereum, right? But they don't know what Ethereum is, right? They have a slight understanding of Bitcoin, but they don't have 100% understanding of Ethereum, right? So the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin is proof of work versus proof of stake, right? Bitcoin is proof of work, right? Ethereum is proof of stake. Now, what I mean by that is when you have Ethereum, right? When it's proof of a stake, that means the value is based off of just purely capital, right? So when they say they're going to create a token, right? I'm exchanging capital for the token, right? So for the creation of the value of whatever token it is, I just create the token. I lock up a certain amount, like a reserve amount. I distribute it to the public, right? But I have control over this token, right? Because the exchange for the value of the token is pure capital, it's just cash, right? So let's just say, for an example, right? Turkey, I don't know, like Turkey, right? Let's just say if Turkey wanted to buy out a proof of stake coin, right? So let's just say Ethereum's proof of stake, right? Whatever I don't know what the capital, the total capital of Ethereum right now, but let's just say if it was $1 billion, right? Okay. And if it's $1 billion, right, you would only need 51% of the market share to be able to manipulate it and control it, right? So if a country wanted to, because they make money, right? They make money, they produce money. They look at money as different. Like we would take money, put it in a coin, and it creates value. But if you create money, right, then that means you can create an infinite amount of whatever it is to buy whatever token and or whatever proof of stake ecosystem that you wanted to interfere or manipulate, right? So that's proof of work because it's all based of just what capital you can put in. Proof of stake, proof of work is different, right? Proof of work is Bitcoin, right? And look at that as in like energy. Bitcoin is energy, right? So when you break it down, Bitcoin is pure energy. Why? Because you need electricity, right? To power the miners so that the miners can solve these blockchain equations, right? And then at the end result, you'll have value within the Bitcoin. I'm not going to explain the exact process, but understand that there's an energy consumption that gets to it, right? So if Turkey wanted to take over Bitcoin, it can't. Why? Because it needs the energy. There's no way it can have the amount of energy consumption it needs possible to take over the market. Right? They can't produce enough chips to create miners enough. If they said that they could do it, it'd be a calculation of time. Right? It wouldn't be something that they can just make up out of thin air and say, yo, we're going to do this. That's what the problem the American government's having right now. This is like a dragon that's got out of control, and they can't just print money to take it over.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So so proof of work is in a sense, like, without getting too difficult, it's an energy lottery. Right? So they consume energy from the ground, right? They take it into this digital space via the miners, right? Without getting too difficult to the topics. Miners get rewarded, right, for consuming the energy, right? So I can be a miner, you can be a miner, anybody can be a miner. It's a community. Everybody has the ability to control to this, to contribute to this network. Everybody contributes to the power. Everybody's energy contributes to the power of Bitcoin, right? Right. So therefore, no one person can own all of the energy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm saying so.
This part.
You know what I'm saying?
So wait. So okay. So we went through blockchaining. We went through the Bitcoin and the fact that right now people can. Well, actually, let's go back. Can we go back 2.5 seconds?
Yeah.
How long has Bitcoin really been around? Because people are hearing about it. I feel like more people are hearing about it now.
I might have to Google like the exact date. It's longer than 2000. I think longer than 2012, maybe 2011. I mean, he started it, I want to say, Bitcoin started.
Because I remember when I had probably graduated college, my sister was like, there's this thing called Bitcoin and it's going to be the next biggest thing. And the way she used to talk about Bitcoins, like
2009.
So it has been around for quite some time.
I begged my father to buy Bitcoin. I begged him. That's the one thing. See, that's, you understand, this is the one thing that this generation can have over the next. Right.
Like,
it's just understanding that, like, this curve, like the .com curve was a boom of information, right? The cryptocurrency blockchain boom, that's the dispersion of wealth, right? We're looking at the great wealth transfer right now, right? And let's just say, like, you can't go against God, right? So at some point, right, that wealth can't be hoarded up by one person. It's like energy has to flow somewhere else, right? Right now, that energy is flowing technically out of U.S. currency, right? They're printing so much of it that your dollar's getting less and less, right? So if you want to look at it from a financial terms, rich people are going to buy Bitcoin as a hedge on their dollar, on the inflation of their dollar, right? So look at Bitcoin as an insurance to your money, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So just it's going to be used more like an insurance tool per se, right? For real rich people, right? Because if like 1%, I think if all of the rich people put 1% of their wealth into Bitcoin, the evaluation would be like 250,000 or $500,000, some crazy answer. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they just participated, they're holding out right now, right? Because they either don't want to transfer it, right? Because they're trying to fight it, right?
Right.
So they think they can fight it, right? And they can hold out for now for a couple of years, but at some point they're all going to get in. And rich people don't buy Bitcoin the way we buy Bitcoin. They don't go through Coinbase. They can't trust it. They got too much money. Coinbase has too many limits, right? So what they do is they're going now through Grayscale. They go through these big investment firms who they buy up hundreds of millions of Bitcoin, right? And then they hold the value, right? Then they borrow rich people's money. They store their money, and they basically like do, calculations and based off of, you know, what their stored value of Bitcoin is based off of the return that they're giving the investment for the cash, for the rich people, blah, 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 right? But they don't buy it, right? They don't buy it themselves because Bitcoin is very, very, very risky. It's very, very volatile.
It's volatile,
right?
yeah.
It's very volatile. As it gets higher, it'll be more stable, right? But for now, it's a very volatile investment, 30, 20%, 10%, 5%. Like, yeah, your money's everywhere. And that's why it's not good to use it as a currency because it's so volatile. By the time you make a purchase, the price of the purchase has done changed and you done either paid too much or you didn't pay enough. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not practical right now as a currency. It's more practical as, like, you know, it's not supposed to be used as security, but it's used as security. Like, I personally, okay, wait, I'm sorry.
So wait.
I could just go. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Let me get into some of these questions. So Yanet said, so what is the most reliable platform right now, I guess, to use to purchase your cryptocurrency?
Well, Binance and Coinbase, and there's no problem purchasing on those platforms, right? The thing about purchasing on platforms, it's not purchasing, it's are you keeping it there, right? Because if you're buying Bitcoin on a platform and you keep it there, those aren't your Bitcoin. That's their Bitcoin. So every transaction you have with every wallet, every wallet has a public key and a private key, right? And your wallet, and those are like the IP addresses of your wallet, so that things can be set to it, right? So your I'm losing my train of thought. Coinbase. Okay, your public key is what people see to send information. Your private key is yours. That's your verification for your own account, right? When you get Bitcoin, it comes with keys, right? So look at these keys in a sense as a line of code, right? The money you're getting is a line of code, right? It ain't physical. It's just a line of code with metadata, which is information within it that tells you information about the transaction, right? So the Bitcoin is a code that's just saying you purchased this thing at this price, right? But as long as those keys, because a key is generated for every purchase, as long as that key stays on Coinbase, on Binance, on Robinhood, right? You will get intrinsic value for the coin, but it's not your coin. If they decided to take it from you, they could just take it from you, right? Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Okay, so now that real makes sense.
Yes.
So now wait, when you're talking about, when you say if you have Bitcoins or when you have your cryptocurrency on Binance and you decide to keep it there, it's not yours. So is that different from having a wallet? What is a wallet? Can you explain what a wallet is to people and why they should have it?
Okay, there's my. So here's my wallet with no cryptocurrency on it, right? Because crypto for me is not where I decide to put my money, right? I tell the government what they should know, which is I keep my money in cash, right? Whenever somebody asks you if you have Bitcoin or you have cryptocurrency, you tell them, guess what? Mind your business. It ain't none of your business. Mind your business. You don't need to know what I got in my pocket. Stop pocket watching, right? For all they know, they work for the IRS. They just bumped into you at 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying?
I'm done.
So you have a wallet, right? So your wallet, right? Just like a wallet. Like, do I have my wallet? Oh, yes, I do.
Now, for you guys, the wallet is kind of like...
This is a wallet, right? This is my wallet, right? It's old yellow wallet, right? I could lose it. It's just all wallet, right? This little USB thumb right here, right? This is a ledger. This is what you call a hard wallet, right? That little USB drive, or a little thumb drive, right, is where you store your Bitcoin. Right. That thumb drive that your grandma still used to go to CVS to develop her pictures, right? That's now what we store our cryptocurrencies inside of, right? So a hard wallet is where you would transfer your money from the platforms to your hard wallet so that you own it. Now, when it's on this, when it's on this, where's that cord go? Anyway, there's a cord that goes to this. You disconnect the cord, whoop, And now your hard wallet is secure. It can't be hacked. It doesn't have its own Wi-Fi, and it's secure. Now, the thing about this, right? And this is the thing. This is the tricky part about cryptocurrencies, right? There's no bank you can call to be like, I can't get into my account right now.
Right.
So can you please reset my password? If you don't want government oversight over your money, if you don't want a centralized banking system, and you want it, then you take care of the IT on your own account. You take care of your passwords. You're responsible for it, right? And that's another reason why Bitcoin right now is a little iffy, right? Because somebody who's really rich, right? There's a guy who, he's locked out of his Bitcoin, and I think it's worth like 50 mil or 100. I don't know, some crazy number. He can't get in. He got like 2 more attempts left. You never want to be him, right? So Bitcoin, a lot of people are not putting a lot of money in Bitcoin because there's a high chance that you could lose it, you could get robbed. But if you get robbed, at least they ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's almost like money, right? Like, what is money? Is money really real? But like you said, money is what we make it. It's the value that we put on it.
Money is stored value. So if you store it and it has value, that's what you would consider money.
So wait, let's see. Terry said, wait, so is investing in cryptocurrency not actually purchasing it? Well, if you're purchasing the coins, okay, so technically you can still purchase coins and hold on to those coins, and those coins will be just like stocks in a way. You can gain interest on it, I believe, or value can be added, but like you said, it's very volatile, so it's a possibility.
Oh, so no. You're purchasing it, right? So like if you have to, I see the question now. Wait, so if you're investing in cryptocurrency, is not actually purchasing it? Yes, yes and no. So a securities in general is just, when you put your money into something and it grows in value, right? That's a security, right? So whether it be a stock, whether it be a bank account, whether it be a CD, whatever it is, if you're putting money in it and you expect intrinsic value from it, that is technically an investment, right? But you're taking your purchasing power, right, to purchase Bitcoin, right? And then you hold it in there. Now, what you do with Bitcoin is now on you, whether you sell it or not. Once you buy it and you hold, then it becomes an investment. It's like in limbo. The second you use it, then it becomes something that you spent, right? Now it's something taxable.
There we go. Okay, can we get to that? Because that is a part of the issue right now with the U.S., because the U.S. wants something to tax, right? Yeah. And people thought that just because you purchase Bitcoins and it's like this invisible thing that it can't be taxed, but it can be taxed as long as you're trading it, right? It's taxable.
Yeah, if you trade it, you're getting taxed on it, and you get taxed on it per trade, like per purchase, per trade. And that trade even considers a purchase. So if you go to the store and you buy something in Bitcoin, you're taxed on that purchase as well, right? So that's considered a trade. So anytime you buy in and then you move into a US dollar, it doesn't work. They don't tax you going from USD to Bitcoin. They tax you when you go from Bitcoin to USD. All right? So they're going to play this game where they're like, okay, you can keep it, but we're going to tax you if you move it, right? So people are like, well, if I keep it there, then what is it worth? Like, I just can't use it. It's just money that I'm putting away that I can't use. And yes, it's forcing people to save, right? It's forcing people to be part of this ecosystem that saves. And what it's basically going to be is like, you're not, if rich people are using it for insurance, right? Then poor people don't be dumb and just start buying shit with it. And like, you're getting taxed at a crazy rate compared to where the rich people are getting taxed, right? So look at it as in like, in the future, they will start adopting that. You like Tesla's starting that. Oh, you can buy a car with Bitcoin, right? So like when you open up that loophole, then you open up the loophole is, can I put a down payment with my Bitcoin, or do I have to buy the whole thing with my Bitcoin, right? Now, once you're at that part of that discussion, now you have to understand. So can I borrow against my Bitcoin, or do I have to just give it to you? Now, once they get to a phase that they can start to really understand the financial tech to that, right? Borrowing against your Bitcoin is going to be the new collateral, right? It's going to be a form of collateral, right? Right now, there's a SoFi or SoFi. There's a DeFi application company out in Jersey City that allows you to borrow based on your Bitcoin. I don't know how they do their lending process and their underwriting process, but there is companies that are attempting to go down that route, right? And then there's companies that are attempting the insurance route. They're trying to figure out ways that you can insure your Bitcoin, right? In case of loss and damages in a certain way. I don't know how that would work. I think you might have to just give people a company your key and be like, hold on to it for safekeeping, right?
Right,
and
right.
just trust that they won't get hacked either, right? But it's just que sera, sera. But I mean, there's a lot of ways you can play it. Bitcoin to me is Black liberation, right? You know what I'm saying? It's
very much so, which is why
2.0.
Talk.
Yeah, 2.0. Like this. I don't want to sound crazy, and I'm not trying to become a meme or anything like that, but Black people can't say there wasn't an opportunity to jump up on it, and I will say Black Americans, right? Because Africans ain't playing with it, right? If your currency was ran by a corrupt government, way more corrupt than what's happening in America, right? On another level, like you look at cryptocurrencies as a completely different thing, right? Even nations themselves in Africa look at cryptocurrencies as a different thing. If a nation in Africa decided to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna back some of this gold to our own Afro coin, right? That's a possibility, right? They're not doing it because of like fear, you know what I'm saying? And then the unknown, right? Nobody knows, right? Nobody's trying to go dive in deep except the Chinese, right? They're gonna go balls deep in Bitcoin, right?
Right.
Because to them, it's their way of balancing out the power. You know what I'm saying? On the global scale, right? You've seen how the canal, that canal thingy, whatever that canal, Suez Canal, right? Yeah. And how one turned shipping container, right, can literally stop the entire world's economy.
All the Amazon items from China
all got stuck in that one little funnel. So you have to understand how delicate like our economy is. Our economy is that delicate, right? That one ship can create financial devastation, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a travesty all over the world, right?
Right.
But an entire Australia could burn down. Yeah, we don't know about that. You know what I'm saying?
So, okay, wait. All right. So we went through blockchains, the beginning of Bitcoins. I was going to ask one question. And so what coin is a really good coin? Like, okay, so you said you could use Coinbase or you could use
Binance,
but what coins do you buy? Because some people are like, well, some coins are worth a lot and some current coins aren't worth that much. So how do you choose what coin is worth your money?
So I don't give people financial advice. Not
well, that is true. That is true. Let's press this.
I don't know what coin to get or not to get, but I will say that I can run down the family tree. How about that, right? Okay. So you got Daddy Coin, that's Bitcoin, right? Everything like Bitcoin's like the vein, right? Right? It's like it's like the trunk of the tree, and then all these other stuff are little branches that disconnect off of it, right? Because when you gotta buy Bitcoin to get those coins. Do you know what I'm saying? So Bitcoin is gonna be is the gold standard of crypto, right? So it's the vein, right? If crypto is big brother, little brother's Ethereum.
Okay.
Right? You know what? I want to say Ethereum's like almost like your half brother, right? You know what I'm saying? Because in a sense, like one's proof of stake, one's proof of purchase, right? They both understand each other. They kinfolk, right? They got different mommies in a certain sense, or different daddy. One of the two, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they work on two different ideologies.
Okay.
Right? But if there's a ladder, right? Bitcoin. Ethereum, right? Okay. XRP or could be what you would consider what consider my third, right? You know what I'm saying? I would go Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and the only reason why I would say XRP is because scarcity, right? Okay. Like without going too deep into XRP's issues, the government halted them and ran down on them, and they were taken off every exchange. when I see the government take something away, I gotta buy it. I gotta buy it. Supply and demand. If it's low, I gotta cop it, right? So if it's low, I'm gonna need that. So I copped it when nobody else could get it no more, and eventually it went up. Right now, it went up 100, 200, 120% in the last like week or something. But that's just because eventually it was going to kick in, because if they cut the supply off, you know there's something to it, right? Out of all the cryptocurrencies, they cut off XRP.
Why that one?
Why that one, right? So I always say buy the fear, sell the news, right? So buy low, sell high, right?
Right.
But what I was gonna say, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dogecoin, or Dogecoin, whatever. I like it. I like Dogecoin, but it's like, it's theoretical money, right? That's like, Dogecoin is like the literal proof of stake. Like there's no, right? These things can be bought. If one of these little Saudi princes decided to be like, I want Dogecoin for breakfast. You know what I mean? For breakfast. Like, he could seriously, tremendously affect that market to a certain extent. He could tank it. He can make it pump. He can, you know what I'm saying? To me, those things are a little bit more, they're not proof of stake, right? Proof of stake to me is a little bit more solid. Proof of work outside of Ethereum to me, right? They're all just like, you know, put your money in. If it goes up, you get your money, right? But a lot of these things are applications, right? So Ethereum, right? So now here's where Ethereum gets crazy, right? How Bitcoin is like the vein for currencies that trade, for cryptos that move monetary value around. Ethereum is proof of stake, so all it needs is capital. So that's mostly what businesses are built off, right? So you can create your own ecosystem within you can create your own ecosystem, like your whole complete system with applications based off of Ethereum, right? Because how you create equity within that situation is out of capital, out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're out of equity. It could be liquid equity, it could be capital, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they build these platforms, right? They'll say, I'm gonna pay you in this token, right? To all the developers and software people, right? Because developers and software and computer engineering, science engineering, they look at this world completely different. Like, the world is literally like a matrix, and they see ones and zeros all the time, right? Because they see different ways in which their coding is applicable to like just everything, right? So in their, they can get liquid equity for their efforts to help build platforms, right? Through these tokens, right? Built off of Ethereum, right? So a company can raise capital a lot quicker and with less regulations through these tokens, right? Because of the proof of stake is versus proof of work, right? So Ethereum will be a more important part on the society I feel, right? Because they're gonna birth the new Facebook, right? They're gonna birth the new whatever that is, right? It's going to derive from Bitcoin. The value will come from Bitcoin, but the innovation is coming from Ethereum.
Got it. Okay. So now, can we get into NFTs?
Yes.
Because you have a collection for the people who came on, like who are coming in still. You have a collection where so say, what is the difference between non-fungible
and fungible?
Yes. Okay. So they're tokens, right? So you have
so a token,
and you have tokens. So what is a token? How does that work?
Okay. A token, without like a token. All right. So when you have raw silver, right, and you turn it into a coin, what is that called? Minting.
Oh, okay.
There you go, right? So in NFT, when they say you're going to mint something, you're literally taking the technology of blockchain, doing that timestamp, and at the end process, you're going to get a non-fungible token, right? Non-fungible meaning like its value.
It's
I don't want to.
Like it's one of a kind.
Like no, it's like it's fungible would mean that it can be traded back and forth, and there's a currency that regulates the transaction back and forth. Non-fungible is like, I said it was worth this, you bought it at this. That doesn't mean somebody's gonna buy it off of you. Yeah.
Okay. So now with your collection on your
Mm-hmm.
site, people are then able to use their tokens,
Mm-hmm.
their NFTs, and then they purchase art.
So, all right. So look at NFTs as this, right? And we're only going to look at it from the perspective of visual art, right? Because that's what's popping right now. People are only looking at the application of NFTs to visual art. They're only seeing it applied to visual art right now. They're not seeing it applied to everything. Because if you really break it down, when I get to that point, you're going to realize that it's nothing but the new Visa payment system. That's just what NFTs are. That's what we're going to be in the future. It's whatever like, we didn't have the Visa and the credit card payment system for that. I think that came in like 89 or 90 or something, like early 90s or something like that, or early 80s. Like, that's when that credit card system started, right? Everything before that was like fax, send a number over a computer, like real dinosaur type stuff, right? And then that one person created that credit card system payment. He got that that patent, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's where all that technology came from. Now you can just swipe with a card versus always to have cash, right? That's what started that credit card boom, right? And then you got PayPal, who takes that and takes it to another level and does, you know what I'm saying, their own verification of payment services, blah, blah, blah. So NFTs in itself, right, without going too deep, is going to be the new Visa. It's going to be the new verification of how you buy shit, just basically, right? Now, when I want to talk about NFTs in the visual art sense, right, you have intellectual property, right? And what you have with Ethereum is called smart contracts, right? So smart contracts are basically a contract between me and you, right? Peer-to-peer, right? That we've agreed that this is valued at this time, right? So me and you traded for this piece of IP, 0.3 Ethereum. Or at least, I'm sorry, 1 Ethereum, right? Ethereum at the time was $1,000. So 1 ETH was $1,000 when me and you exchanged for a painting.
Okay.
Right? You give me the ETH, I give you a contract, which is an NFT, which ain't nothing but a receipt for your purchase, right? and receipt for your purchase, and and that's the exchange. That's the contract between the two now, right? Now with Ethereum, let's just say Ethereum, that 1 ETH of Ethereum that you paid for it, right? When it was $1,000 with me and you in exchange, Ethereum is now worth, that 1 ETH is now worth $2,000, right? What do you think happens to the value of the painting that you just bought? It's now worth $2,000, right? Because the value is now stored within that contract, right? So look at the IP as in, like, they just added a JPEG to the concept of what it is. They just added a JPEG to a file that verifies a purchase between you and a person based off of between the agreement between you two, not what the value of Bitcoin is. Do you know what I'm saying?
So then does it really matter what you're buying?
That's why I'm trying to tell you an NFT is not really tied to art. It's going to be the how you purchase things.
So it could just be anything.
I could take a picture of this, right? All right. So now here's another thing. So let me help you out with NFTs. I can say it in a way that I can break it down, right? So take intellectual property. All right. There's an artist, right? Right. Like, for example, Basquiat, right? The Basquiat family. How much money do you think they got piece of that last auction that just went down in 250 million Basquiat painting? Huh? Zero. They got zero. They got nothing, right? Why? Because there's nothing that ties them to that piece of artwork, right? That says that they have ownership or that Basquiat had ownership, right? Like, the person who got it can say, he gave it to me as a gift. I bought it off of him. He's dead. Who's going to prove it, right?
Right.
So what the art community has used NFTs as is a way to protect the intellectual property for the artist, right? Because they're using blockchain technology, right, to do what? Timestamp, right?
Got it.
So that everybody knows, like, yo, I made this at this time and this time first. Nobody else put it before me. I was the first one with this image, right? If it's ever re-uploaded on blockchain, it's going to be time stamped when they put it on blockchain. Mine came first. Right.
That makes
So now, um, if I die, I don't need a physical signature on my painting to verify. You know what I'm saying? Artists die with hundreds of paintings in their house, but if they didn't sign, right? And they're sometimes just spiteful. Like, I'm not going to sign my paintings before I die so that you can pour out my art, right? Because there's no way to identifiably say that painting was made from that person.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So now what NFTs do is literally is just tying in intellectual property with a smart contract so that the buyer and the seller have an agreement from when they walk away from the situation, right? That's just like the most simplified way of saying it, right? So when they just confuse you with this NFT stuff, and some people will make it more difficult than what it seems, because right now the knowledge is cool, right? The knowledge is powerful. The knowledge right now is very powerful. A lot of people can make a lot of money based off of knowing a lot more of the basic information than you do, right? So knowledge is key, and people they're giving you the information in bits and pieces because piece of their hustle is that, right? They don't want you to understand that like oh, I could have. Like, I'm just telling people this. When the Great Depression happened, right? And your granny had bought that stock and bond, right? There was somebody's grandparents that bought one stock and bond, one bond from the government when they was giving it out, right? And that bought like the family's country yacht club. That bought the wealth for the family and set them up where they had three family house that grandma had all that out of one place, right? Because she invested in that time and opportunity and the timing of the market, there was an opportunity for her to invest, right? What we went through with COVID is that we went through a nice little reset of the market that needed to happen. It was a correction that needed to happen, right? But that was that time for investment, right? Now, even right now is still a good time for investment, because if Bitcoin goes to $1 million in the future, right? Bitcoin goes to $500,000, right? To me, it's still, I believe it, but it's still theoretical. Like $63,000 for Bitcoin is crazy.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Why? Because it was like 5-6K beginning of COVID, boy.
Wow.
Like that's, you know what I'm saying? So understand that, like, when you sleep on it, there your opportunity is gone, right?
Yeah.
So the ability to invest in this time right now, they're going to make it difficult in the sense of they're going to make the market so uncertain and volatile that you're just going to say, fuck it, I'm going to just hold I'm going to play it safe, right? Because people are losing their shorts out here, which they are, right? People are losing their shorts out here. But at the same time, scam money don't make no money, right?
That's it.
You have to be bold and adventurous. Like, how many people did Ford, Westinghouse, and all these, how many people you think they ran out of competition to get to the point that where they are now, right? All these companies that have family names, right? Like, we think they're brands, but no, that's just the last name. That's just their last name, right?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like there has to be some sort of level of like thirst for competition to get to the bag, right? That we as a culture need to have, right? Because an Asian gets treated like an Asian to a certain extent where they go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a Chinese person is getting treated a certain way. So they have more of a single-minded ideology, right? Based off of their culture, to understand that, like, wait, when you come here, open up a Chinese food store, right? Why would you do anything else? Yes, go be a doctor, right? Go be this, but you can see that there's certain job fields that they don't even touch, right? Because it doesn't benefit them as a culture. There are, I want to say there are more Chinese restaurants than there are all the franchises combined in America.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
So just understand the amount of, think how many people they feed. Who do they feed?
That's a good
question. You know what I'm saying? So it's levels. There's levels to, like, Black people getting out of their economic situation. Like, one thing could just be eating, right? Eating healthy in itself could change the economic tides. We're like a mini economy within an economy. So a lot of the things that we do can disrupt the economy. But as long as we're buying, we're good for the GDP, right?
Exactly.
So it works both ways, you know what I'm saying? But in the world of cryptocurrencies, it's just like, it's an exciting time, right? I'm in the stocks, right? So I go for Bitcoin mining stocks. I go for the stock plays because I can trade it a little safer,
Right.
than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's more of buy and hold strategies, long-term investments, right? For anybody who has kids, buy crypto now. Take that 2 bands, 1,500, right? 2 bands of 1,500, right? Put it in the crypto, right? Don't look at it, right? You'll thank me later when your kids go to college. That's it. Set it and forget it. There's never been investment opportunities like now. Like, remember the college fund idea that everybody had for us growing up was a village needs to commute to support this, right? A village needs to come through and everybody got to put their hands in this bucket and drop some money in, right? So that we can help each other out, right? Whereas this one is we can all buy the same thing and grow in the same value, right? Investing now does not need as a group to involve as many people. Like exchanging money. Like I don't need the Susu style investment no more.
Oh, Jesus. Not the Susu.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need the Susu style investment no more because why? Like I can just tell all my friends buy Ethereum at this time and make money.
Can you please explain to them what a Susu is? And then I'm just going to get to it.
Oh, the Susu? Susu's like Susu's work. It's like a math calculation of putting money in a pot, you know what I mean, to build, wealth amongst people. Everybody gets paid around and stuff. But it involves a level of trust.
Yes.
That sometimes you don't want to put that trust in people, right? But I can get 10 of my friends together and say, yo, we're going to buy this, right?
Right.
And we all don't have to buy it, right? You don't have to buy it. You can say, I don't want to buy it. And if I take an L, you don't take an L. But if I take the dub, you don't take the dub. You don't take the dub. It's your choice, right? But investing as a community has never got. Matter of fact, Wall Street bets prove that we've been slipping this whole time. Wall Street bets proves that numbers matter, right? Wall Street bets proves organization is key, right? So if we can look at these things and not be able to think that we can't make them applicable to ourselves, right? I'm not part of the team that doesn't see that picture no more, right? My ideology's changed since COVID, right? The herd mentality can't continue no more, right? You can't take everybody with you, right? What everybody has to do, everybody has to start taking responsibility for themselves, right? And putting in the work for themselves, right? And that will manifest through your next legacy, your cousins, your friend next to you. Like people will pick up on that energy because you'll lose friends when you start to get positive, right? You lose friends when you start to change that energy, right? And that'll help you identify that maybe the path that you were on, right, isn't conducive to the people you were around.
Okay, okay, so that is very important because you know that we are all about community, but I recently had this conversation and I said, oh, God.
But how do you know, the guy's question said, but how do you know the authenticity of the art you're buying if that's a fair question? Oh, okay. So you don't know, right? So NFTs right now, the whole NFT space is the wild, wild west, right? Nobody knows nothing. Don't listen to there's no expert of nothing. There are certain people with influence and money that are pumping certain parts of the market, right? Right. You have artists that already had huge followings, right? So they're going to make money off of these things, right? Because it's craze, fandom. Everybody's in the crib. I can't do nothing with my Ethereum. Why not purchase something that keeps the value in it? All right.
I mean, that is important too. Speedy said, until we value marriage and the nuclear family will continue to struggle in our organization. So, okay.
That was deep.
We are very much about, Sankofayah is about looking back into your history, never forgetting your past, but moving forward. We should be collaborating, but it's so hard to get. I asked this question to Dr. George C. Frazier, and I said, well, how can you get everyone to be on board? And he said, well, if you're building something for everybody, you're building something for nobody. Not everybody's going to be able to go. Like,
Facts.
not everybody is going to be able to go. And it's not to say that you can't, you know, collaborate with a couple of friends, but you need to be with the like-minded people. If you're focused on a low-level thinking, and I'm trying to think how we're going to set up the next couple of generations, we can't vibe. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's your flavor. This is my flavor. This is where I'm going. So fine-tuning who it is that you should be honing in on and going with them. But like you said, with regards to Bitcoin, some people need to see you make that move first. Until you do it, they're gonna be like, and then people.
Well, I mean, I look at it like two ways like this, right? God showed me that I need to let people drown with Noah, right? He had a whole story, Noah's in the ark, where he left those people to drown, right? Why? Because he's like, yo, it's for the greater good, right? So sometimes for the greater good, you can't take everybody. You gotta take that journey by yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now what was the second point that you made? You were talking about yeah, I lost it.
I don't know. I'm
yeah.
to you.
Yeah. But yeah, basically like you can't take everybody with you, and and black people, like, we need profits, right?
Yeah.
And I don't need a profit, but people need profits. People need magnetic leaders. We've always needed a guy that we can say he's that guy, so they can find that guy, right? Like that's us, right? So on the lowest scale level, we're going to be the same type of people who only follow when somebody's on the come up.
Right.
And to me, that's energy lurking, right? Right? You see somebody's energy field look lit. Let me come to it. Let me get a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get a piece of that energy. And it's just like, for me, it's like that mentality hasn't helped us, right? Right? Because with the celebrity, I feel like celebrity culture was created because they knew we would start following whatever people. There was a new profit factory. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then once we tapped in, everything else was just gonna take off.
Yeah.
Is a stamp of approval of the black culture, and that's it. People don't realize that every time you put your energy. Have you ever seen a commercial for Hennessy? Like, no, there's no reason for them to advertise, because black people will advertise till the wheels fall off. Oh, man, you just need that stamp of approval from the black community, and that's it. So
what do you think that Duce deal was about?
Oh,
that's market share right there, right? That's somebody having the culture and them not having the culture, and their sales declining tremendously, right? But that's also giving up the leverage of power in that moment, right?
Right.
It's spirits from the first off, and like, it's not like it was a black cognac maker, right? So people claiming it was a black-owned business from the rip because Jay-Z's name was licensed on it is kind of like skewed. The perspective is skewed, right? But like, it still shows that the culture decides the market value, right? So if we define culture, then we decide the market value of everything, right? If
to see that.
Yeah, so if we're politically unrest, nobody's going to work, right? If we're upset, nobody's going to work, right?
That's a whole nother topic. But okay, so tonight we talked about blockchain, we talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which ones to kind of like consider, where you can buy your cryptocurrency from, NFTs, and intellectual properties. That I wasn't aware of. That was like a aha moment.
Yeah, it's NFTs are not that difficult. It's just the way that you're seeing it is only through visual art, which in itself is so ambiguous and interpretative that it's very hard for you even to but the first question is, I like that. And then you see the price value underneath it, and it's like, but who determined that cost that much, right? Who's buying this? That's the intrigue, right? And you have to understand, people are posting what they want it to sell for, and people are taking the caption as it's sold for that.
Mm.
Do
So
you know
it's
what I'm saying?
all about perception.
Oh, right now, because there's nothing core to the market, right? It's a bubble. Right now, it's a bubble for sure, right? Because there's no core to the market of that. And you know what I'm saying? And as an NFT, it's just visual art NFT.
Mm.
It's
So can I ask you one question?
yeah.
Do you follow 19 Keys?
No.
No, you don't follow 19 Keys. Okay.
Keys.
No? Okay.
I'm an old head for real, for real.
It's a lie. It's a lie because you're younger than me. But anyway, 19 Keys is this young guy, a Muslim guy, and he talks a lot about cryptocurrency. His whole thing is to educate Black people. But he was on EYL not too long ago, and he was talking about cryptocurrency as well as like the virtual space or the visual space. So I was never a Sims person. I never really got into that. But I feel like Sims and everything that people used to do back in the day is now kind of like what they're taking and think that
the meta space. Okay.
Yeah. So like going into that space, and he was talking about like almost like a virtual reality where.
So you got like places like crypto. I've just come across these places. I get the concept. For me, experiencing it, that's not my world, right?
Literally, it's not your world.
Literally, yeah, literally, it's not my world. So it's like I can understand it, right? So basically, what you have is it's kind of crazy, right? So when we talk about ecosystems, right, and financial ecosystems or business ecosystems, we're talking about like Facebook with Lira, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Facebook has their own marketplace for goods that you can buy. Right. But you're buying it in USD right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality, you can buy it in whatever cryptocurrency Facebook wants to use.
Okay.
Now imagine how valuable that currency could be if they decided to house their ecosystem like that, right? Mm. And then the sim reality thing is nothing just a visual perception of what you already experience.
Right.
When you deal with these companies and their own ecosystems and how they view you as a consumer in that market, right? How they view you and how you interact with their products, that's their ecosystem, right? So when you take the crypto voxels or Decentraland, which are like, they're VR worlds, right? So these worlds, in my opinion, are created out of people who are computer science majors, right? RPGers, right? Mm-hmm. That decided that they can take it to the next level and they want to have an autonomous virtual situation. So they all join together and they come up with these platforms and these cool places, but how they create equity between each other, right, mm-hmm. is through tokens.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In-game purchases, right? Just look at in-game purchases for video games, right? Look at that as some sort of perspective into what you get with crypto voxels, right? It's just like there's economies that can be created within these worlds, right? So look, if you're a business person now, you're looking at it like, oh, you're telling me I can create a world and we can create money out of that world, right? At this point, you gotta understand. You gotta look at it as in, are we within a simulation of a simulation, right?
Right.
Because we're creating these little simulations ourselves, right? So now our simulations aren't just sim things that we deal with, right? These simulations now have AI, have multiple different things that are going in it that you wouldn't even understand on a surface level, let alone a technology level. And at what point do we consider something having not a soul, right? But or at what point do we feel morally like there's a step back that needs to be taken, right? Because historically, right, how I viewed it, like Black people didn't. It's not that we didn't have the technology; it's that we've either learned a lesson at one point, right? And I know there's one African dude I heard him say it is like the wheel was illegal in certain places because what comes with the wheel is the trees go down, the waters run dry, right? The crops go down, right? There's famine, right? Because with technology comes resources that you have to pull, right? With, the powers that be, right? Let's say if they come from a place where there are no resources like that, right? right? They're very scarce in resources. Their mentality where they go is they don't have the same value of resources that we do,
Right.
right?
Right.
So they're going to just consume, right? So technology is an in part basis off of the need for resources,
Mm.
right? And that's where you'll derive away from spirituality per
Mm.
se, right? Because you're becoming more of a god yourself by creating.
Mm. You just gotta go check out 19 Keys.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we was good.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So we definitely have to do a part 2 to this.
No, we do. Like
I'm
I
not.
like this, man. I feel the vibe. This was good. I can vibe with you,
Hey.
and I think it's because we know each other and then the GT connection. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why it just went so smooth. But like, nah, this was a vibe. This was
No,
definitely a vibe.
no. This was definitely cool. And honestly, I put this down as a reel, and it went from like 500 likes to 1,000 likes in like 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, people really need to hear from Julian. So, Julian, you need to make a way to educate the people, particularly our Black people, because now is the time to jump on. So,
Well, I definitely do. Right now, I'm working on an NFT blockchain education program for
yeah.
our youth, right? I
Okay.
got some schools that I'm working with,
Nice.
right? I'm not going to say any names yet, but
Okay.
it's in the process. And basically, like, I identified that this NFT space, crypto space, the gap of understanding and information for our youngins coming up is atrociously going to be horrible, right?
Mhm.
These white kids who have their parents who can afford for them to go and play in this crypto world are going to have a way better financial advantage than our kids will ever have, right? Because they're playing with money, right?
Right,
They're
right,
playing
right.
with money now, right? They're playing with stored value. They're having an understanding of stocks. Not every kid in the urban community is going to have the household structure where that's going to be presented to them,
Mm-hmm.
b, the financial means to be able to invest in the opportunity, right? And three, the environment to have that motivation to even, or just even the access of having the information, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and the tools to understand it. So I'm working on a program for schools right now, and
That's
it's
amazing.
like, to me that's more of my mission, right? They tell you during the gold rush, you know who made all the money?
Ooh.
The nigga with the pan. The nigga made the pan. Like, that nigga made all the money. So like, I tell people right now, don't think because you not an artist, you can't understand NFTs or you can't get money, right? They tricking you. NFTs is for everybody. It's not just for artists. You have to take some time out, understand the technology, and figure out how you can make it applicable to you, because blockchain is something that's applicable to every industry. Every industry is going to work with blockchain at some point, right? So you have to get a basic grasp of it, because you're going to go to work one day and they're going to ask you a question and you're going to realize, ooh, like I could have spent 10 minutes reading something. Right. And I would have, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even have to be something that, like, it could be something that blocks you from a blessing. Somebody can ask you a question about that, and if you don't know about that question, he will walk off. That's the new money talk. You don't know crypto? If I see a white guy on a train stop, right, his phone out, and I see he trading on his phone, I'm sparking up a conversation. Right? I have conversations like that with people outside of my race, you feel me, randomly, because why? Like, there's this new set of information. There's a new thing that everybody's partaking part of, right? And we have to be part of that discussion.
And
we have to force ourselves. We cannot be influencers. Like, I'm tired of these motherfuckers getting, all these black stars just get hit up to be like an influencer. They don't understand the technology, and they just out here just taking the bag as an influencer, right? And understanding, like, yo, you have the capital.
Right, exactly. It could have been so much more. It could have been so much more, because they have the value, but they don't realize. And that's the thing. This is so frustrating. That's the thing. If we realized our value, we would be in a different position. We would be in a completely different position. If we realize that there aren't boundaries, yes, there are mental boundaries and there may be physical boundaries, but there are a lot more mental boundaries that we've created for ourselves that are actually there. Like what you said with COVID, and this is a clean slate. This is time for us to be able to say, I need in. I don't know enough, but I'm gonna learn. Like you have to make that effort.
And you have to learn. You
Take
have
you
to pick.
do it.
Huh?
Nobody's gonna make you do it. Like nobody's gonna like you could take, you know, the horse or the camel to the water, but you can't make them drink. Like you have to be able to do this. Like your livelihood is on the line. Your kids are on the line. Your everything is on the line. Like it's either you have enough motivation and drive to want to do this, or we will continue to see what's happening now in this country for as long as it's going to happen.
Well, we're gonna have a new class of wealth. It's gonna call
That
it
is the truth.
they're gonna call it the crypto class, right? That crypto class is gonna be very diverse, right? It's gonna be very diverse, but you might see one thing missing, right? And it is not going to be from the Black perspective. It's going to be from a nationality perspective, right? You're going to see a lot of different nationalities being involved with it, and you're going to see the ones that have the least amount of control over their own education, right? Are going to be the ones who suffer the most, right? Because regardless if a country's poor, as long as they can control their education, they can implement ideologies into a younger generation to change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they want to do, right? Israel, what they do, they make sure you enlist in the army and you take these super crazy computer schools and like their kids' missions in Israel is I want to join the super hacking computer squad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they look at that like Avenger type stuff, right? Like that ideology has to be like instilled at home in some sort of manner where our kids, it's so hard because it's like you want to create a reality where they can grow up to be a child, right? I don't have kids, but I can understand like when I work with kids, like knowing that parents just sometimes want them just to be kids, right? And like that's what they did for us. They just said, hey, we're going to block everything out. Just go to college. When you graduate college, life will take care of itself, right? And they didn't scare us enough, right, into knowing how they taught us how it works. They told us how it worked, but our kids. When I'm saying, I think there needs to be a more serious tone of not militancy, but when you go to school, like, yo, it's on. Like, my mom used to do that, though, low key. She used to tell me, like, yo, when you go to class, you ain't about to embarrass me, right? You need to know your work. When you in class, you sit in the front, you raise your class, you raise your dick. Because when my parents moved to Maplewood, right, I was like it was like 3 black kids in the classroom, right? Or 4 black kids in the classroom, right? So when black people moved to Maplewood, their thing was, I ain't that one. I ain't that parent. Right. Right. And like now I'm older now, I can see how if a kid is out of control, before the mom even get here and pick her up, I'm already judging her, right? Like this mom got, and then when they show up, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how it be. But it's like we have to like really start like, I don't know, man. We gotta start making it a competition. We need to stop telling them everybody's equal. We need to make it a competition.
Ooh.
Do you know what I'm saying? And once we get
on that, but I like that, and there's nothing wrong with striving for. There's nothing wrong with striving for excellence, and there's nothing wrong with being the best, whatever it is that you put your mind to. And, oh gosh, I don't remember the name. The actress from Insecure, not Issa Rae, her friend.
The African
did an interview. Well, they're both African, but
and I brought that up to somebody and they didn't want to believe me. I was like, yo, that show, they making fun of y'all, but that's a whole nother story.
No. So what she said in her interview was people always thought that she was better than other people. And she was like, but I am. But like, that's just how I was raised. I was raised to think that I'm the best at this. I was raised to think that I'm only going to get A's. Like, what is it? Yvonne? What's her name? Yvonne?
Yeah. Her name.
So yeah, so that was just the way she was raised. Like, you're top shelf. You're not the red paper cup. You're fine china.
Well, like, there's cultural. I think it's just cultural perspectives. Because I mean, even me growing up, like, I identify myself wholeheartedly with a full-on Black American struggle, right? Like my whole life. that's been my identity. If I'm more pro-black than 99% of the people that I interact with, right? Growing up, I find that 1%, and we have that eye moment, like, oh, well, you're a real one, right? So I've been more pro-black than the average. I would say the average person, but then I have, I noticed that when they call an Asian kid like smart, it's like a joke, but it's like it's a good stereotype. Like everybody gets good stereotypes, right? Right? Even being Jamaican, they used to be like, "Oh yeah, you gonna have 10 jobs when you grow up," right? Like that's like a joke, right? But it's like, "Oh, you called me a hard worker." Oh, okay, all right, you know
Right,
like,
right.
I can eat that for now, but it's just like when it comes to a Black American culture, right? Like it needs a reset because everybody has had their own opinion on what it should be, right? Without, you know what I'm saying, allowing them to define it themselves, right?
Right,
Right.
right, right.
And I feel like, yo, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But the thing is, we really have to define it. Like we have to define it and stick to it. And Lord, my phone, and be committed to what we think it is, to the value that we put on ourselves. Because like you said, you know, you get these stereotypes coming from another country, like, oh, you're hardworking, or oh, you're very nice, or you're not rude, or you're not lazy, you're not this, or you're not that. And that's the perception that even Caribbean American people have been taught. We are all the same. Like we are all the same. And we've been brainwashed with that for quite some time. Like I love to see this post, and I see it every once in a while. It's like Black people started being lazy when they stopped working for free. That was it. That was it.
Ooh,
That was it. That was it.
And I get it. Like, yo, if slavery was as brutal as they say it is, I feel the laziness in my genes from the work that I did back then. I feel it. I don't know how to explain it. Like my hustle spirit, I didn't have the most impoverished background growing up, but I'm a hustler. I consider myself somebody who goes very hard for the goals that they want.
Right.
But I feel that laziness that I don't have to work a Mexican job. And I have to identify with that ideology, right? Because if I feel that way myself, then people who need to be applying for them jobs feel the same way too, right? But I can understand, I don't know what it is, I can understand with some sort of generational trauma, or I'm like, I'm tired.
Right.
Like my soul tired. I don't know how to explain it.
Not my soul. But that's it. Like
it's
you're right about that.
And the emotional fatigue of living in America as a Black person, it has to take at least 2 hours out of your day.
You're constantly on Amber Alert. You're constantly in survival mode. You're constantly in survival mode, and that's how we function and still thrive. A good portion of us still thrive in survival mode. Or we get to the point where like, this is enough. I'm doing a mindset shift because this cannot progress, because what you plan for your future children cannot be passed on through you. Like it has to stop with me, and we all have to, like, as much as we are about community, we have to take personal responsibility for ourselves and be able to say, I'm done. I'm not going to choose this anymore. I'm going to choose this. I'm going to make it my business to start purchasing toilet paper from a Black-owned company, or purposely putting money back into my community. Like you have to make those conscious efforts. And that's not, some people feel as if it's too much for me to take on because it's like, I can't save a whole race. You don't have to. You need to take personal responsibility for yourself. And
there you go. That's facts.
As we talked about that energy, once you do that, that energy will transfer to somebody else and be like, yeah, but I saw Julian, and I remember back in the day he was like this, but now he's done like a 180, not a 360, because we don't want to go back to where we were, right? It's a whole 180 with him. I could do that. And then all of a sudden, it's that, which is why we created Mansa Musa Money. And I love this shirt so much because, one, it pays homage to Mansa Musa, who was the richest man in history, the wealthiest man in history. But two, it is the mindset to get to the money. You can't talk about how you're getting this money and you're still not actively working towards it. You're saying, I want to get the bag, but your actions and your mind are conflicting. So
I know people who might not, to me, have the best business acumen, but they go so hard at promoting themselves. It worked.
It works because of the consistency. Because of the consistency.
And if you're consistent with content, you will always win. Because all you have to do is out consistent your op. What you think is, you know what I'm saying? Like pick somebody, pick any celebrity, right? Look at their page. If you want to be as successful as them, make content better and faster than they do. Make it more consistent. Whatever brand you see, make it more consistent, make the quality just as good. And if you can do it at their pace, I guarantee you're going to wake up one day because you've been working to get to that pace and you came up and now you have 10,000 followers. Now, it's the journey to get to the point of your routine.
It's the journey.
It's the journey.
Listen, we're done for tonight.
Yeah. I ain't giving too much money away. You got to start paying for these. You got to start paying for these, man.
No, you call the value. You call the shots. That's what we learned tonight. So, all right, guys, it's been amazing. Thank you so much, Julian. I can't wait until I hear more about you and the schools and teaching those kids about the NFTs. That is going to be, I'm waiting for that. I am waiting for that. So yes, everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was another episode of Return and Build Talk, Fat Rich Conversations. And tonight we talked about cryptocurrency. I will be posting this, so don't worry. We'll keep it up. And this is just the beginning. So please go follow Julian because he is amazing and he's doing amazing things. And like low key, okay, 2.5 seconds. Just talk about Jaja Foundation. Just 2.5 seconds because that's I think is so important.
So Jaja Foundation is Jamaicans at home. No, Jamaicans abroad helping Jamaicans at home.
I love that name.
And Jaja Foundation started out with my uncle. I want to say with my family. I don't want to create too confusion, but my uncle and his peers who are in the medical field decided that it was on them, right, as an individual,
right,
to help Jamaica's healthcare system, especially the emergency healthcare system, right? So once you start taking on that ideology that like I can help and I'm willing to help, you start to see how big the problem is. Yes. What can you do to solve it, right? So Jaja Foundation is just pulling resources from Jamaicans that left. Everybody, Jamaicans, the most proudest people when they're not in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? When we abroad, we Jamaican as hell. You know what I'm saying? In Jamaica, you're in Jamaica. It's not going to be a topic, right? So we want to take that pride that you have in Jamaica, being abroad, and somehow everybody already gives back home.
Right.
When you're from abroad, right? But Jaja Foundation is more of a way where you can give back and quantify what your give back does, right? Because it's very hard to quantify what your donations do in a lot of situations, right? So what Jaja Foundation does is it gives you the ability to interact with real Jamaicans in a community, and you can be part of a community of doesn't have to be Jamaicans. We got Trinis, we got Guyanese, we got Bajans, all sorts of people. Because if Jaja Foundation, and you come to a Jaja Foundation event, best believe Trevor's gonna be at your event, right? Like what if you're like it's a community thing, because what we want to do is create the ideology that like, yo, you can do something, and even if it's the little, it will have a major impact, right? Like they're building, they raise money to send I think we sent the ambulance back to Jamaica, right? Because they don't have that many ambulances in Jamaica. Like they don't have the EKGs, they don't have the
sonogram machines,
the sonogram machines, and all that. So like also what Jaja Foundation does is they bring back doctors, right? Doctors want to go on trip on vacation in Jamaica. But what Jaja Foundation does is, hey, if you want a vacation in Jamaica, but we need you to donate some of that knowledge you have to some of the local Jamaicans and train them and do a workshop with them so that they can understand how to use these tools, right? We can send money to give them the tools, but if we don't teach them how to use it, then what's the purpose, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's for the most part, that's what I would define Jaja Foundation is. It's a community of Jamaicans giving back to the Jamaicans at home, but in a way that it's quantifiably, like you can quantify, you can see it, there's results, and you can trust the process.
Right. once again, community. You need to have that support, and you need to be able to support other people, because best believe if the shoe was on the other foot, you would wish that you had that support. So I
Mm-hmm.
love the fact that I remember it was a couple of years ago, but you said every time you go to Jamaica, you bring shoes, and then you don't come back with like no shoes. Like he does not.
One pair, I come back with one pair of sneakers.
He always donates his shoes every time he goes. Like that is your commitment. So you as an individual, if you feel like I can't do anything else, I know that on this trip, this is, and it's not even like people are looking out for it, but that's your commitment, right? That's the way you pay. Like that's the way you're paying it forward for other people. So it's necessary. And we all need to find just one thing, even if it's just one thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Start doing it, because it will contribute, instead of us thinking so selfishly, like, I'm just concerned about this or this bag or this shoes or this whatever. Like it's because when it's another senseless killing, when it's another Black person's body on the ground, none of those things ever mattered, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we just put our resources together, if we show up individually, if each person shows up individually, what y'all think a group is gonna look like?
Mm-hmm.
A group will be a group of powerful people who all have resources going towards the same kind of goal. But anyway, that's a whole nother I was gonna say room. I'm not on Clubhouse, y'all. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
But Julian,
Oh,
thank you so much for tonight.
I appreciate you for coming out. If anybody wants to see an NFT, I have an NFT in my bio. If you click my bio, it says Good Juju. That's my NFT series. Like I'm dropping a pack, what they call like a trading pack, right? So I can't just talk to you about it without giving you something that you can see, right? I have some art that I've turned into an NFT, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they look like trading cards, right? Why? Because these are things you can invest in, you can sell and trade.
Oh, money. It says Mansa Musa money. It says Mansa Musa money, and then it says Fat Rich at the bottom. But yeah. So definitely check us out at sankofayah.com. B10F. B10F. Yes.
B10F, my man B10F.
Good Juju. First of all, I love that name. But anyway, all right, we'll be on here forever.
All right.
Julian, thank you so much for everything. You guys, thank you so much for rocking with us tonight. Thank you for coming on, because if you came on, then you know that we were going to provide some type of value, and you knew that you needed to know it. So I hope that you are all going to leave with more resources and with a bit more insight than you did coming in, because I know I surely did. So Julian, thank you so much for blessing our lives. And I pray that comes back to you and 1,000 times over. But we'll be in touch, and we're definitely going to do this again.
All right, no problem.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.